Hello guys, and today is a completely different video because lately I've just not really been feeling Star Wars anymore because of Disney being awful and destroying the franchise for me. And as a result, I have stumbled upon a new hobby. And as you can see, it's Warhammer 40k, and I wanted to showcase my first ever Necron. It's like, this is my first time painting them. I'm completely new to painting. And I've had so much fun with this. Honestly, I've loved every second of it. It's a bit worrying because Lego's kind of fallen by the wayside. Like, I've got a pile of decal clones that I've still not finished. I've had them for ages. I used to finish them on the day I got them. Now I'm slow, but I do have as you can see, I've got some cool decaled helmets that are done. I just haven't done anything with them. So, back to the Necrons. We'll start off with my favourite. It turned out horribly because I hate resin casts. But this is my Trazyn the Infinite. The staff has broken a bajillion times, which is why it's so fat around just above the hand, because I've repeatedly broken the staff and repeatedly fixed it by gluing it back on. But I also didn't cut out the resin cast very well. Honestly, hate resin, can't wait for this to come out in plastic. But for the time being, I love... Trazyn's my favourite character in the Necrons. He's one of my favourite characters in general from the 40k universe. And this Trazyn turned out really, as well as it's going to turn out with a sodding resin cast. Honestly, I have a massive hate boner for resin casts, but I love you, Trazyn. You're my favourite. Then this was the first Necron I ever painted. I saw it in the store and I was like, this is pretty cheap. It was 18 quid for this guy, and I was like, yeah, this could be fun. And I started painting it whilst I was away with my girlfriend on holiday for our anniversary, and honestly, I love it. It's so cool. And this was kind of like, it just turned out really well. There are bits of it that I kind of redid over, like this bit was just plain metal colour. And then I redid it because I wanted to include that green. I really like including that green. And you can see more of that in there. Honestly, this guy turned out really well, all things considered, considering this was my first Necron paint job, and I spent ages and ages trying to get it so you had like a little bit of green in those little slits on every single one. But it was well worth the time, and it makes me very happy. I'm very satisfied with how the model turned out. I also went over it with Seraph Sepia, so that's where kind of like this bronzy hue comes from. And the little spider guy turned out really well. I was really happy with how that turned out. I mean, I spent ages trying to make sure I got that detail right, and it turned out brilliantly. And the staff turned out really, really well, way better than Trazyn's. I'm sorry, Trazyn, I did you dirty. Then we have my little scallops. They are so cute. I love them. I spent ages trying to make sure I got this like the way I wanted them, and they turned out really well. I'm really happy with how my little scarabs turned out. And no, I have not painted the bases. I'm an evil person for not doing it, but that's just me. I don't paint bases very often. I will get into it eventually, I promise. More scarabs. Again, like all these scarabs turned out really well. I'm really, really happy with how they turned out. Some of them are a bit more green than others, but on the ocular, but I'm happy with it. It still looks really good. And it turned out the way I wanted it to, which is perfect. Now let's have a look-see at the Necrons. So I don't actually know the difference between any of these weapons. I just know this one has one tube and this one has two tubes to shoot out of. So this one I actually put a little bit of green on the end so that it looks like he's fired it recently. And I just love how it turned out. I honestly love shade paints. They're so fun to play around with. I love it. If you look at it from this angle, black, silver. I love that. And these are just fun little details I added in just to have some fun. And honestly, these guys look gorgeous. Well, not gorgeous. They are far from perfect because, I made them. I'm still new to painting. Please don't hate on me too much. And if you've got any tips, I am always ready for more. So these guys turned out really well, although I was really stupid with how I did this. like most of the time. It was only on the last one Necron that I actually kind of figured out how I want to do it, which is just paint over it complete with brass, which what I did before was I used the brass, but I diluted it and then just dropped it in there, and it kind of filled in the gaps itself. But that was a horrible idea, because you can do it much easier by just using Earthshade after just painting over it normally. So, not great, but you know. Oh, I love this one. This one was really fun because it's just like the brains blown out, so I did bits of white and things like that just to add a bit of spice and flavour to it. And then you've got the beam there, and then Earthshade on the end of it. That just, it added so much highlight. But this was one of those times where I added the shade, I added it as a liquid, and it turned out perfectly. Doesn't always do that, but it does sometimes. And this Necron, just, I was really quite happy with how this particular one turned out. Just like a lot of the things that I was trying to do kind of went well, and I'm very, very happy with this one. Maybe if anybody has any idea how I could improve the design of the damage, make it look better, that would be really appreciated, because I don't know, something about it just doesn't quite hit the sweet spot for me, especially with like this one. Has got all the dangling wires. I do actually quite like the dangling wires and how they turned out, but one of the ocular is really dim for some reason. Not really sure what happened there, but like you can see I painted some of the wires and all sorts. I just love going into these little tiny details. It's so much fun. Oh man. And then here's another one. I'll have to go over this one a bit because the shade has clearly just gone a bit wild. I like having the eyes to be separate, and also, as you can see, he's also got a weird Gauss tube. As you can see, they've all got the same green, and then he's just got bright green, and same with him. It's just these two Necrons have bright green Gauss blasters. Very stupid looking comparison, but it's fun. I love this guy. The just like the ripped head. I enjoyed painting that so much. I love the battle damaged ones. They look gorgeous. Like you can see on the corner, he's got some wires sticking out. I like painting those. Not really sure why that's so green on that side. I'm going to have to fix that in post. But these are my first attempts at Necrons, so please be gentle. I did paint all of them except for one in the same style, and then I've got Necron Warden coming, which I'm very looking forward to. But they all turn out really quite well, all things considered. I mean, not as good as my Space Marines. My Space Marines, I tend to have... this was the first one I painted from this set, possibly? Oh, no. I left the black, white. I did black and bronze. I didn't want to do silver all over. I think one of these guys does have silver all over. But for the most part, I went with black and bronze because, I don't know, it just looked prettier, cooler to me that way. Oh, was it this guy? Yeah, this guy, as you can see, bronze and silver. I don't like the bronze and silver. They blend together too much, so it just looks like I've painted it all one colour. This was my first Necron Warrior attempt. I used a completely different colour, had a bit of fun with the tubing and wires. I quite like this torso design with the tubing and wires, but that being said, I don't know, I think that the red and green, I prefer the black design, if I'm being honest, and like I use silver for the wires now. This boy, this one is the most recent one I painted, and I really like how that slash mark came out. And then I used Earthshade to separate the little lines, and the Gauss Blaster looks really nice. He does not have a painted tip on his Gauss Blaster though. Poor Necron. And yeah, these are my first ever Necron Warriors. I hope you guys enjoyed my introduction to Warhammer 40k. I do apologise if you've been subscribed to me for my LEGO Star Wars. As I say, it's not very fun being a Star Wars fan for me anymore. I'm kind of trying to shift away from Star Wars just because of how bastardized the franchise has been, and it's not as fun as it used to be for me anymore. And this is more fun, so probably going to see a bit more Warhammer content on the channel, bit less Lego, and also just because this year, for me personally, is a rubbish year for Lego Star Wars because there are so few minifigure sets. But I digress. That should be a separate video. We're focusing on Necrons, and this is my Necron army for now. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.